What's up, guys? This is Brian Mayer with the Mayer Group at eXp Realty, and Happy New Year. It is January 1st, 2022. I want to talk to you about what is going to happen in real estate in 2022. And the biggest question I have is, are we going to see a price correction, or are we going to see a crash? And the answer is very likely no. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that. So I'm down here quarantining. Pretty sure my daughter has the Omicron. It seems like everybody is sick right now. So hope you're staying safe. She's okay. She's been vaccinated and also has actually already had COVID once. So I think she's going to be okay. But it's very scary out there. You can't even get a at-home test right now. And seems like all the hospitals and the doctor's appointments are full. So thank God we're all in good health over here for the moment. But down here quarantining and, thinking about 2022 and what's to come. And, everybody has this sense of maybe some what happened in 2007 can happen again, because it feels the same. There's been a steady, exaggerated or accelerated increase in house prices, and a lot of people have been selling their houses, making huge profits. A lot of people have been buying houses and then, turning around and selling them. And it just seems like a lot of the things that were before could be happening again. And then people are like, well, maybe I shouldn't buy a house right now because they're inflated. And maybe when this thing gets fixed, they're all going to come back down. Like, that eventually might be true, but it also might not be true. One thing is, I'll tell you right up front, I worked in the mortgage business for a number of years, and they kept telling us to tell everybody interest rates are going to go up. You need to really consider that. And then they would go down. And that's back when they were at 5.5%. Well, look where we're at today. So, caveat here, we don't ultimately know what's going to happen. But I'll tell you that, I did a lot of research before I made this video, and everybody says that without some external factor, house prices are going to continue to go up, not as fast as 2021, but 2021 was a record-breaking year, depending on where you were at, anywhere between 10 and 20% increase in value. In some places, probably more than that. People paying $100,000 cash over appraisals, stupid things like that. Luckily, we don't have those issues here in Southern Maryland. I would say we're a much more diet version of the real estate market around the country. We're much more less volatile. Part of that is because of the area that we live in is very much tied into the federal government. It's much more of a sort of steady hand in all of this. Like, we're not in a vacation area. We're not in some kind of hot market because of, Amazon coming here, or, people have discovered that it's this retirement place and everybody wants, whatever it is, they're not coming here for politics like they are in Texas or whatever. So we're just kind of doing our thing here. People are coming here mainly, relocating here to work in the government and moving away when they retire because they don't want to pay the taxes here and they want to move somewhere warmer. That's all still kind of a thing. There are three factors that are impacting the real estate market here and everywhere else. One of them is the interest rates being very low makes it very easy for people to be able to afford much more than they could before. And it makes it so that the, decision to sell your house isn't overwhelming. There's still great mortgage products that are no money down, very low money down. Even though you might have to pay your closing costs, people have equity in the houses they're selling. So coming up with an extra $10,000 or $15,000 isn't the end of the world. That's the other thing, is people have equity when they're selling their houses. When I started in real estate 2009, everybody paid buyers closing costs because the buyers never had any money, because if you sold your house, you were just like maybe writing a check or breaking even. And, it was tough. Now it seems like everybody's, how much are you making? Are you making $100,000 or only $50,000? All this stuff. So the second reason why the housing market is, always, it's very strong and is still recovering from an issue from 2007, and that the builders' businesses got destroyed during the crash. And then after that, millennials didn't buy houses. So you were reading all these articles in 2017 and 18 and 16 and 15 where it was like, why aren't the millennials buying houses? And then it created this sort of, very stressful situation for the builders. And the amount of houses built was way down in comparison to the population growth. Like, it should kind of do this. Population goes up, houses go up. Well, the population was going up, houses being built went way down. It created a national shortage. What are they? Not boomers. I was going to say boomers. The millennials got married or at least decided to have children, or at least for some reason or another decided to buy a house. All of a sudden, all at once, started to, come in droves. And then that started to drive the price of houses up. And then that just created a churn. Now, the third reason is because of the pandemic. So I thought that we were going to be packing it up and looking for another kind of job, because there's no chance I'm going to be a real estate agent in the middle of a pandemic where no one's going to want to go into someone's house. Like, I'm looking for another job. And back then we thought it was like Ebola. Like, it was like no one's going to want to go around anybody. I had no idea, nobody did, that it was going to have the opposite effect. So the phenomenon is that people are now figuring out that even after this pandemic's over, if and when, right? Because now the vaccinated people are all catching it. So at what point does herd immunity kick in? I'm not going to talk about that. But if we decide that even after the pandemic, we don't have to go back to work, well, then maybe I don't want to live like 10 minutes from my work. Maybe I want to live right up next to DC. Maybe his traffic's too bad. Maybe I want to live out here in Southern Maryland, or I live in the one part of Southern Maryland. Maybe I want to live out in the country. Maybe I want to live on the water. Maybe I want to live with 3 acres. Maybe I want to have a farmette. Maybe I want to have some chickens. Maybe, I don't know, I want to have a more of an outdoor experience because I'm working from home and I bought this house having only lived in it from 6 p.m. until I go to bed at 10, and then on the weekends. Now I'm living in my house all day long. I want a different kind of house. I want a different house. So that's it too. It's like, well, if I can live anywhere, do I really want to live here? And the answer is, for many people, no. They live where they live because of their job. And if their job doesn't dictate where they live, then hey, let's go. So it's that, and it's like, hey, if I can, because interest rates are low, and I got equity, and why not? Let's get a better house. You could buy a house for a small fraction of the payment of what they were just back when those interest rates were 5.5%. So at 3% interest rate, people talk about it's like free money. So that's it. The programs are still out there. No money down still out there. There's still grant programs, down payment assistance programs, low money down programs. But even with that, there's people that just, they have all the equity and they're putting, $100,000, $200,000 down on these houses. And the market is predicted to continue to go. It's predicted that the inventory will continue to remain lower than average, and the house prices are going to continue to go up. So it's predicted about 6.1%. Keeping in mind that's on top of the record-breaking 2021. They're going to continue to go up in 2022. So I think it's going to be a more balanced market. I think the buyers are going to have a little bit of an easier time. God forbid you're trying to buy a house last March, April and May, even February. It was terrible. I'm hoping this year is going to be better. If you're thinking about making a move, love to talk to you about some strategies, especially, getting a game plan together if you're trying to buy a house, for getting some loan programs that'll help save you some money that not every lender offers, especially these sort of rocket mortgage, Quicken Loans types, or some of these credit unions. And then if you're thinking about selling a house, FYI, I just helped a guy sell a house that he was listed for sale by owner, and then I called him up and we had a buyer, and the buyer fell apart. And then I asked him to hear me out on this idea. Like, maybe we make a small investment and we actually sell this house for more money. And it took a while to talk him into it, but we I didn't spend any money, but together I helped him, find some contractors and recommended what to do and what not to do. I think he spent about $10,000, and we ended up putting it on the market $50,000 more than what he had it, and we sold it within a week. I won't tell you what it's under contract for, but I can tell you that he's going to be happy when this is all over. And that's what I would tell you. Like, don't wait to call me when you want to put your house on the market, having made decisions about what you are going to do and not going to do to get your house ready to sell, and forego the opportunity to trade your $20 bill for somebody else's $100 bill, meaning that there's small investments that you can make in your house that will have an exponential return. And I work from a strategy of trying to figure out what are the things that have the biggest impact for the smallest amount of money. And, I have a whole thing on how to do that. Watch the videos on my website. Check out briansoldit.com. But that's it. It's January 1st. I can tell you one of my other listings, right after midnight, I got 2 showings on it. Today, I got 2 more showings on it. So I think a lot of people are waiting for January 1st to pull the trigger. And if you are considering making a move, let's talk about what to do to get your house ready to sell, and then when's the best time to sell it. I don't think you need to hurry up before a crash. So let's talk. It's Brian Mayer. Check out briansoldit.com. Make it a fantastic day.